Doctor, look.
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Clear.
Hey, everybody, it's Dr. Homebrew. We're back again. Feels like forever. It feels like forever. But in reality, it's been like a couple of weeks. And I like that. Brian just took all of my beer.
Thanks.
What the fuck is that
It's
about?
Duluth beer, man. That stuff is good. Somebody sent us
one of them is
some bent paddle and
our first guest up, Paul, sent us 3 beers, and Brian just stacked them all in his little corner.
I was just getting them out of the way for you.
I thought it was one for all of us.
Yeah, well, bring them up. I was going to talk about it, and then you hit them from me.
Okay.
What are you doing to me?
Here.
Give me this.
You have that one.
I'm going to shake it up and open it all over the studio. I'm just kidding. Before we get too far afield, I want to thank our fine sponsor, 5-Star. You can go to 5starchemicals.com. Learn all about their lovely products. I've been using the hell out of those today. Or not today, this week. I've been brewing a lot. Doing some doing some things for Jamil on the Pico brew. And I'm just, I'm brewing some oatmeal stout, and I'm going to brew. I brewed a couple days ago, and then I'm brewing tomorrow, and it's going to be like, here's beer with dark grains in the mash, and then I need to somehow figure out how to program the Pico brew to stop.
Yeah.
Before the sparge. Well, there is no sparge. How am I going to do this?
Oh yeah, it's not too hard to.
I'll email it. No, it's easy to program in, but I don't know at what point. Like maybe the last 5 minutes before runoff, and then it'll just go. I have to email Annie and ask her.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, just ask their customer service.
I mean, what would you do? I mean, because it's a no sparge system. So would you like?
What's your goal?
Well, they want a comparison of beer that has dark grains mashed versus dark grains just for sparge.
Okay.
But there is no sparge. So I feel like it's a 10-minute cycle to drain the tank, right, to work all your wort through.
Right.
So maybe mash for 80 minutes, drain, stop it, because it'll stop itself. The cool thing is you can set little programs, and it'll drain, stop
Pause.
it, pull it out, take everything apart, put the grains in, and then put it back on, and then have one pass through to simulate a sparge.
Yeah, that could work.
I don't know. It's weird, right?
Yeah, see what Annie says.
Yeah. She's smart. She's the brains. I just push buttons. Anyway, so I've been using a lot of 5-Star, man. A lot of PBW because, if you let a Pico brew sit, I always like running a bunch of PBW through it. So anyway, check them out, 5starchemicals.com. What do we have today? We have, what are the beers we have? I forget already.
With American Brown Ale from
American
Paul.
Brown Ale, okay. Yeah, so Paul sent us a can of Summit Dark Infusion, right? Because there's an accent mark over the O.
Oh, it has the accent.
Yeah. Which is a coffee milk stout. Here, you can put that in the corner if you want. Black ale from Bent Paddle Brewing in Duluth. Are you from Duluth, or are you just a big fan of Duluth?
I've been there. My brother lives there, so I go there a lot.
Okay. Have you been?
Great.
Have you been there? Really, it's good.
It's a small little. Well, it's small little tasting room, but they're doing a lot of good beer there.
And then a rum. Why is my mic falling? Jesus, I feel my mic is like a 60-year-old penis. It just falls. Indeed Brewing Company, a rum barrel-aged king, which is an imperial stout aged in rum barrels.
It's a nice-looking can.
That's kind of cool, huh?
Minneapolis beer.
Complex notes of toffee and vanilla.
10.5%.
10.5%. Do 70 IBUs. Toffee, molasses, and vanilla. Well, that's cool. On the can there, they have the notes of what you can expect. Sorry, Keith, I don't know if you were holding it out for me or if I just took it from you.
No, I was holding it out. Brian's the one who took it from me, actually.
Brian's a thief. He's a Christmas thief, man.
No, I passed it over this way so I could look at the can because it was so cool. Then I snagged it right back.
I like seeing what commercial breweries do about how they get across their knowledge, right? How they get across like what is in the can and maybe even teach people what's. So I like that. Indeed Brewing, is that what it is? Mm-hmm. Just kind of like simple, almost like an infographic about what flavors to expect in that beer. Kind of cool. Okay, yeah. So we do have Paul on. What beer did Paul give us?
This is the American Brown Ale.
American Brown Ale.
Yeah.
We have that guy, and then we have Clifton on with a wheat wine. That'll be kind of cool.
It's the first time we've had a wheat wine on.
It's the first time we've had a wheat wine, and it may be the first time I've had a wheat wine. I don't really know that like wheat wine is super. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had one once at the
super homebrewy
World Cup of Beer, and it was like, what, a wheat wine? This was like 10, 12 years ago or something, but I'm like, what?
I've brewed 2 over the last 12 years, so it's not a very common thing to do. But I think I had a sack of wheat, and I'm like, what am I going to do with the rest of this wheat? I remember
wheat wine. Yeah, it tasted really good there. It was awesome.
It's not very far from here that sort of the style originated, right? It wasn't like Rubicon up in Sacramento is the sort of the originator
of
oh, really?
Wheat wine, yeah.
Huh. Yeah. That's cool. I like that. Well, let's get Paul on the line here and start drinking his beer. What do you guys think?
Sure.
All right. Paul, can you hear us, buddy?
Yes, I can.
All right. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
Perfect. Thanks for the beer, dude.
Yeah, well, I thought I'd share a little Minnesota with you guys.
I appreciate it. I also, what I appreciate more is the stationery you wrote on. It has a nice heart with some snowflakes on it, and I think it looks really nice.
It's
Minnesota nice.
Yeah. Well, this is what he said. He goes, "Happy holidays. Enjoy the packing material," because he packed all his beer around these, and then in parentheses he says to share with guys, and I'm assuming he meant you guys in the studio, not just guys in general.
Right.
Well, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't a Scott thing, and they ended up in somebody else's hands. So.
Yeah, no, come on now, that is ridiculous. Anyway, while we're pouring your beer, we have it already. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your home brewing? How long have you been making beer at home, dude?
Probably started in the late 90s. My wife gave me my first kit from Northern Brewer.
Nice.
And then I took a little bit of a hiatus, but then I ended up jumping right back in it in the last probably about 5 years and brewing as many times as I can.
Really? How often a month do you brew?
Usually about once or twice a month.
Wow. And for how long have you been doing this?
Wow.
And keeping up this pace?
Since the 90s?
Oh, well, no. I was, like I said, I started out with some just kits right away.
Yeah.
And that was just sporadically. And then probably in the last about, like I said, 4 years or so, I picked it up a little bit more, tried to do 2 batches a month or so. But I do everything in pretty small batches, only about 2.5 gallons. Yeah. So it's easy to drink.
Yeah, dude, that's where I'm at right now with the Pico, and even then, it's hard for me to get through it because I'm just one man. My wife doesn't really drink a lot of beer, so I'm kind of just stuck with it. And I'm so glad I downsized as I get older because I can't drink 10 gallons of beer. I just end up dumping it, and it makes me sad.
Oh yeah, no, it's a smaller size is better.
I don't care what my high school girlfriend Jenny said. I don't care.
You guys keep telling yourselves that.
Obviously,
20 gallons of Russian Imperial Stout on Monday. So,
whatever. Okay, let's drink his beer. Keith, why don't you start us out, man?
Cool. Okay. So on the aroma, I got toasted malt, some light chocolate, definitely malt sweetness, some medium caramel. Some fruity and floral character from the hops, but I also got some esters, some fruitiness from the esters too. I think probably I'd say red apple there. The definite leaning of the aroma is toward the malt and more than the hops. Generally, the style is a little more balanced, so I think that's a little bit on the malt side, I would say. I got a touch of paper. We'll talk a little more about that as I go along. Light brown, medium haze, low, slightly off-white head, fairly long-lasting. Flavor-wise, I got a fruity initially, both hops and esters. Light cocoa notes, nutty, mild caramel and sweetness. Fermentation I thought was generally really clean. Esters seemed to, on the moderate side, which is appropriate for style. Balance is definitely toward the malt. Overall, though, I thought the beer had a touch of just a little bit of a dryness, maybe from just a little bit of a tartness to it that sort of dried it out a little bit at the end. Other than that, thought the hop flavor was pretty low. Just like I said, like a little bit of fruity floral character, not much more than that. Medium body, no resiny character, no astringency, very little warming, medium carbonation. Overall impression, I thought for me it fit within the guidelines of the style. The guidelines do say 20 to 30 IBUs. I thought this would probably be on the sort of the low end of the bitterness for this style. The aroma and flavor, I thought, were a little low for the hops. It isn't necessarily, it's not a brown IPA. It's not supposed to be, but I thought the hops were a little bit subdued for what the style should represent. I got a little bit of staleness, so a little paper character from that. So I would watch the oxygen pick up there. I'm not sure how old the beer is, but just be careful in bottling. I know it was shipped probably across the country, so just be careful with that. Little fruity, but I thought that was kind of a nice touch, actually, the fruitiness. I'm interested in what yeast you used or what temperature, or maybe it is just sort of the hops presenting themselves that way. Overall, I gave it a 31. Really easy to drink, sort of a middle of the road, or actually even probably kind of like a milder, moderate version of the style, which is fine. It's not supposed to be, like I said, it's not supposed to be a brown IPA. I just thought it was a little more hops would probably bump it up a little bit, and I thought I got a little bit of the paper oxidation notes, and I think that's about it.
Okay, very good.
What is this picture on? This is disturbing.
That's a disturbing photo. Okay, what do you think about this beer, man?
Yeah, so the aroma-wise, it has a pleasant, lightly chocolatey and somewhat toasty, dark caramelly malt note in there. It balanced with it seemed like in the aroma a little more substantial in the flavor, but there was a nice citrusy floral hop in there and moderate fruity esters, but in check, kind of out of the way. No obvious alcohol. It was clean. I didn't get any DMS or diacetyl or anything in there. So it seemed like it was nicely brewed. Appearance-wise, medium brown, had a low light tan head in our glassware here. Faded fairly soon after pouring, but it appears, moderately clear. There's just a faint bit of haze in there, but it's not too bad. And mostly finer bubbles forming a collar around the edge of the glass there. Flavor-wise, it's got a rich, smooth chocolate and caramel malt in tandem in the flavor, and it does have a bit of sweetness. It's kind of leaning towards the medium sweet realm there. At least the impression is. What I also found is that it has very low bitterness, and there's maybe not quite enough of that to balance all the malt sweetness that's there. But very clean ale fermentation. Hop flavor is a low citrusy note, and it's less here in the flavor than it was in the aroma. It's got a sweet and malty aftertaste. It just comes across sweet, and then it stays sweet and lingers. Again, no bad stuff I could find. Mouthfeel-wise, medium-bodied. Feels just a bit heavier than I wanted. It's like a little syrupy on the tongue, kind of. Maybe I thought from the sweetness that's in there. But there's no obvious alcohol warmth here either. Seems like a mellow, smooth beast. It's still... it's smooth and a bit creamy, not getting any astringency at all. The CO2 level seemed medium also. It's pushing enough CO2. It didn't seem flat or anything, so not sure why the head fell flat, but that's fine. But yeah, overall, it's a pleasant drinking American brown ale. It has a lot going for it. I didn't get any obvious defects. It's mostly balance issues that could improve the beer. I'd like to see that if you could dry out the finish a little bit better and make it play off of that, either the chocolatiness of the chocolate malts that are in there, or perhaps bring up the bitterness just a touch to give that dry kind of bitter finish that I'd like to see in that. So, and it could be, the sweetness could be just the impression of sweetness due to the lack of bitterness. Keith and I had a little argument about that before this, but we're trying to figure out what it was. So, I mean, if Paul could tell us where it finished at, how, where it started, where it finished gravity-wise, that'd be nice to know. But that would help to balance a lot if you could fix that. Even more hop in the flavor would be welcome, but that's kind of a preference thing. I like the hoppier end of the American brown style, but it's perfectly fine to have it be this malty and this, fairly sweet. Maybe not quite this sweet, but it's a clean and enjoyable beer. I give it a 36. Thank you for sharing it.
Excellent.
All right.
And thanks for all the other beers. I just brought it up to a 37.
You took them all again, yes.
There you go. Yeah,
they're in your bag now. I can see that.
That's the easy way to get a higher score on Dr. Homebrew, is just ship us a bunch of beers. Well, Paul, do you want to give us the recipe for this guy first, and then we'll kind of get into any questions you might have?
Sure. This was, I basically took it as the Janus Brown from Brewing Classic Styles.
Okay.
My goal was to actually make one as an extract, because I've heard that it doesn't do well if you don't make it as an all grain. So I've been trying to enter it. So this is about my third rendition of it. It's 3 pounds of Pilsen malt syrup, and then a pound of Carapils, a pound of Crystal 40, and 4 ounces of chocolate malt. That's for a what's my batch size? For about a 3-gallon batch size.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I added I had just some Munich malt syrup left, and I added a pound of that to it too. It was OG was 10.49, and then it finished at 10.12. So I was trying again to shoot for something pretty sessionable.
Yeah.
So did I win that argument there, Brian?
Maybe.
Just kidding.
But now I want to hone in on the extract thing. Why?
Yeah.
What's with the goal of? And I can taste some Janus Brown like flavors in there for sure, and I noticed that. But the goal of doing a extract version of this beer.
Well, it's a time thing,
of course.
So I put this together, and it's a 15-minute boil.
Yeah.
So that's the nice thing, is that if I don't have a lot of time to brew, I can put something together, and if it's a small batch, you're not boiling a lot of or heating a lot of water, I can be done and out in an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yep.
And so that was my goal, is to see if I can make a good beer from extract. It's kind of like circling back to where my roots started. So everybody starts as an extract brewer, and then you go to all grain, and then I do a lot of brew in the bag, and then I wanted to go back and see if I could do something really well with an extract.
Yeah, I think certain beers lend themselves better to the extract than others, like a barley wine or maybe like an imperial stout or something where you want some sweetness in there in the finish. To me, I always had attenuation. The attenuation was never as good as when I went all grain, like with the syrup, and you just have no control over it. I mean, I guess you could do a really low temperature steep with a big dose of malt, but then you might as well just be mashing. But
yeah, I'm not even sure when I was doing extract that I was using. I was using a hydrometer for OG, but I probably never used it for FT at that point in time.
Yeah, like half the time, because you're kind of like, whatever. It's too, I still don't even use it half the time.
Yeah. Paul, what do you think, Paul? Were you excited? From the extract perspective, what did you think, like flavor wise versus other beers that you've made? Do you notice any differences at all? From this, I think a little more caramelization is what I think I noticed now that you say that. I'm like, I guess that could explain it. You said only boil it for 15 minutes, but even the extract, though, gives you a little bit more caramelization than you normally would possibly get for beer like this.
Well, I think that the biggest change that I've seen in the past of doing this recipe was just the Munich that I added to it gave it, I think, a little bit more of that sweetness. Because usually I don't put the Munich in. The hopping, though, with this one was all homegrown hops, so I had no kind of guide to know how much bitterness I was going to get out of them. I used the Northern Brewer for my bittering hop addition, and I used 2 ounces of that, and then I used 2 ounces of Cascade, one at 15 minutes, and then one at flame out. And then I put in 2 ounces of Centennial at flame out as well. So it had a lot of hop, but I didn't know how much hop that was going to give.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of people who grow their own hops tend to use them for finishing hops and not so much for bittering hops, just for that very reason, when they're not sure how much bittering it's going to give you. So.
Yeah, because that's pretty, pretty dependent on like your watering schedule and all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, hops need a lot of water to really get full and lush, and I think as a home brewer, as a home grower, we don't really have that attention to pay to it. So you get more aromatics because the alphas are kind of just dialed down a bit.
Or you just forget to water them like I did, and they just die.
That's true. That'll happen also. Yeah. If you don't watch out. Well, Paul, do you have any questions for the guys on the beer at all, or their feedback rather?
No, and that's what I do think that, drying it out, I've always had a lot more luck in making a pale ale from an all grain batch and getting them to dry out.
Sure.
If I control that a lot more. This was just the dry US-05 yeast, and I thought it did a pretty good job with it. So
yeah, if you did it again, I would just maybe pull the Munich out and do a big mini mash with some American two-row at like 145 to 147, as well as you can control it, for 30 minutes or whatever, and just steep it until it'll help dry it out and balance out the extract, I think. But it's cleanly brewed, and you did a nice job with it. You know what you're doing, so that's cool.
I think it's pretty great for an extract beer. And I think the other thing I would do then as well is, especially if you have homegrown hops, is to showcase them a little bit more and add a little more to it as well.
You could bitter with something like Magnum or something neutral, and then just use them in the late hops. Yeah.
Okay.
Go a little heavier.
All right, thanks.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sound good, Paul? Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
And have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too.
Is he from Duluth, by the way?
I don't know. Paul, you from Duluth?
No, I'm just outside of Minneapolis.
Oh, okay.
One of the suburbs.
Anoka?
No, we'd be south of Anoka, over in Plymouth.
Oh yeah, I know that place.
Oh yeah. All right, Paul. Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye. Okay, good beer. I liked it. Yeah. I wouldn't have really guessed it was an extract. A lot of times I think you can guess that
twang.
But I didn't get any of that. So it's pretty cool. All right, we're gonna take a real fast break, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna drink more beer. Why? Because it's Dr. Homebrew. Hang tight.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Cans.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making. Now, back to the examination.
All right, thanks for hanging around, everybody. In case you didn't know, we're having an AHA Member Drive. Anybody that joins the AHA through the Brewing Network, which is there's a link on our website now through Christmas Eve, so through tomorrow night, use promo code BNARMY and you'll receive 2 books mailed to you. The books will be Wood and Beer, a Brewer's Guide by Peter Buchart and Dick Cantwell. And, of course, Designing Great Beers by the world-famous Ray Daniels. That is an amazing book. I have yet to check out the Wood and Beer book. It's right up my alley. No pun intended. But that Designing Great Beers, I don't know how many copies of that book I've sold. Just from recommending it to people. It's such a good book. If you don't have that book and you want to get a handle on developing your own recipes, man, that's a great place to go. And of course, there's the benefits of the AHA. You get Zymergy, you get the electronic version of the Zymergy, you get member discounts at bars, breweries, homebrew shops. Of course, then there's that Brew Guru app. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So check it out. Hit our website right now.
I actually have 2 more nights because it's only the 22nd.
It's only the 22nd. There you go. So hit our website right now and hit that link up and join. Put that code BNARMY in there, and then you get your free book. It's free books, dude. Free books.
If you join AA, do you get free books? I walked by the AA local chapter today walking over here, and when you said AHA, for some reason my mind jumped to AA, and I wonder if you join AA before Christmas, did you get free books there as well?
That's not a good correlation. I don't think we should
Get a free.
I think they're fighting hard to block the... No, it's not.
I had a friend once who had to join AA, and he was a home brewer, and like one of the things they asked him, like, why are you here? And he's like, well, I brew beer, and everyone in the class was like, how do you do that? So he started explaining how you brew beer in an AA class, and the teacher's like, no.
Stop. Yeah.
Also, what's kind of cool is our friend Nico Brew. If you go over to pro.nicobrew.com, they're offering wholesale 44-pound boxes of hops to everybody, not just pro brewers. So if you have a homebrew club, which most of you do, and it's not the BN, of course, and you guys want to go in on a box of 44 pounds, you can get it at wholesale cost. You can get it at cost. Well, not at cost, but at wholesale, right? So, get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people, dude. Buy a sealer, a vacuum sealer, and buy some boxes of hops, dude. Anyway, pro.nicobrew.com. Check it out. Okay, let's get Cliff on the line here. We're pouring his wheat wine. What is a wheat wine specifically, huh? What is a wheat wine? I'm asking you guys.
Very strong beer made with wheat.
Is it?
It's very similar to barley wine.
Yeah,
but with wheat,
okay.
Heavy wheat, but made malt base. Yikes!
But it's not hazy. It's not like a German wheat. It doesn't have the
And you want to have
the clove and banana thing going on.
A neutral yeast strain, not a.
You don't want that.
No.
Okay.
That would be like a pale Weizenbach.
Weizenbach, yeah.
Of course, it would
a great
be
beer
something.
as well, but
yeah, for sure. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, we were talking. I don't know if I've ever had a wheat wine before. Clifton.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing, man? It's JP.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not much. We're about to drink your wheat wine. Are you ready for us?
Yeah, that might be unfortunate for y'all. We'll find out.
That we're drinking your beer, or that you're ready for us to listen to us drink your beer?
Both. We'll see.
A listener with a good sense of humor.
Hopefully the beer's good. I know how the show is, but hopefully the beer's good.
Yeah, the show is shit, but the beer, as long as the beer's better than the show, I think it's a win.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Hey, how long have you been homebrewing, man? Let's get our normal questions out of the way here.
I'm going to say about 2.5, 3 years, right in that ballpark.
Okay. Have you done a wheat wine before, or is this your first attempt?
No, this is my first wheat wine. I entered a competition, and strong beer was the category. Mm-hmm. So I decided to go ahead and do a wheat wine because I hadn't done one before.
Okay. That's a good reason, man. That's a good enough reason. Okay, well, let's jump in on this. Brian, go for it, dude.
Yeah, this is
wheat wine us.
Pretty recent, a pretty new style. It's, just added to the guidelines last year. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So thanks for sending it. Haven't had too many of these, honestly, but they are interesting when you get them. The aroma-wise has a moderate hop aroma up front. It's kind of citrusy and a little bit of floral. It has a low, bready, grainy malt with a light fruitiness to it. Clean, fairly clean ale fermentation, it seems like. The alcohol isn't like wallop you in the face, but it's there. You can definitely sense it. I'm not getting DMS or diacetyl in the nose, or acetaldehyde, no green apple. Color-wise, it's a nice orangey, deep golden color. I really like the appearance. Had a low off-white head, mostly finer bubbles that stuck around pretty well, despite the strength. And it's very clear. So it's a nice-looking beer. Flavor-wise, I got a medium grainy malt and a warming alcohol. In the flavor, I felt like I got a little light solvent to it with alcohol. But yeah, it's definitely more noticeable than in the aroma. It really jumps out at you when you taste it. So the alcohol's kind of intense and there's a little spiciness to it. Sometimes alcohol comes across as spicy, but I'm also getting alongside that like a light clove-like phenolic in there.
Yeah.
The beer is definitely balanced to the malt and low bitterness. It's kind of out of the way, but it's enough to balance the beer. The finish medium dry and that spicy quality lingers in the aftertaste with that. It just kind of stands out because it's not super sweet, but it's spicy is really noticeable, especially in the finish. Again, a light fruitiness and a kind of grainy quality from the wheat, which is nice. Mouthfeel-wise, it's medium full body, kind of where it should be. Not very creamy smooth. The alcohol is a bit hot in the throat. I'm feeling it burn all the way down a little bit. And it's a little biting overall. So there's a medium-low astringency in there alongside the alcohol that's kind of giving it a slightly rough impression, a little harshness. But, it's still drinkable. It's definitely a sipper. You wouldn't want to guzzle the stuff anyway. But, and it has low carbonation. It's kind of out of the way just a bit. So if you had too much of that, it would really be pushing things. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty good beer. It has some of the nice, grainy, bready malt character you want in there, just with the spiciness and that harshness and some of it from the alcohol, maybe some higher alcohols in there. It's attracting a bit from that. So, just want to, with this big of a beer, you want to take very careful care of your fermentation and use a big, huge, vigorous yeast pitch. The dregs of a previous beer that went well would be great. And just, rack it off and dump the new batch on top of it there, or, even wash your yeast and do it. But yeah, consistent temperature and avoiding, I'm wondering where the spiciness is coming from. It could be a wild yeast contamination or some other contamination getting in there. That's fermenting it alongside your intended strain. But, it's a tasty beer nonetheless. I gave it a 29. It's in the good range, so it's just has a few things that I would improve, but I really liked it. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, and maybe you can rebrew it and send us another sample.
Yeah, so it shouldn't have that clovey, spicy thing.
Yeah, and it doesn't have like a banana and clove like as if you had brewed it with the German, wheat beer strain. But
yeah, no, I get that totally. I'm almost, and I think it must be a contamination because it's getting stronger now. It's aged a little bit, and it's almost coming across Belgian character to me, which is kind of odd.
Yeah,
just mull it. Just heat it up a little bit. Put some cinnamon sticks, some anise in there. You'd be great. Do a little brandy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just make it a Christmas beer.
Do that. Keith, all right, man, go for it.
I thought for some reason you said mullet.
Just grow a mullet, and it'll make everything better.
Yeah, everything's better with a mullet.
Right, it is.
I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and everybody had mullets there. So anyway, a lot of the same comments. These were judged independently too, which is interesting. But light floral, tropical fruit. I got some alcohol, low solvent. Moderate malt sweetness, a little hint of sherry, and I got even a touch of like pineapple lifesavers, which always remind me of tape. Is something that I smelled as well. Otherwise, pretty clean. But yeah, alcohol is pretty apparent.
Why do peppermint lifesavers remind you of tape?
No.
Pineapple.
Pineapple.
Oh, pineapple.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a pineapple lifesaver later, and it could be the color as well. It looks a little bit like tape, but light amber, brilliantly clear, large white head. it does stick around for the amount of alcohol that's there. So that is great. Initially, got a big malt sweetness, a lot of apple flavor. Also getting some bubblegum solventy sort of character too. But the finish is a lot of chlorophenol, plastic. Bitterness I thought was balanced for the style. I didn't think it was under bittered. But I thought there was very little hop flavor, which is acceptable. But I thought that would probably fill out the beer a little more. Body medium full, very 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 warming in terms of alcohol. Carbonation is medium. The guidelines really talk about velvety and creamy, and I'm not really picking up on that. Overall, I thought the wheat malt character was probably a little subdued there. I'd like to see a little more of the fluffiness from the wheat. That's kind of an inside joke, I guess. But everyone always talks about mouthfeels have fluffiness, but I'm not sure I really ever detected that. But you went sort of a bready character, and I'm not getting a ton of that. I'm getting a lot of that solvent character, and a lot of apple, a lot of esters. So the alcohol seems high. Those high esters are a little overwhelming for the style, and then finally that phenol at the end is probably the other big detractor. So I would watch your fermentation temperatures. Yeast choice. I wouldn't think this would be. It doesn't have like Brian said. It doesn't have the Hefeweizzen and telltale signs of banana and clove, so it's not that, but it's I would just watch, especially the yeast temperatures and then any sort. The fermentation temperatures and then any sort of contamination as well. But I think I don't know. I think contamination at this point, it seems kind of. I don't know. It seems kind of hard to believe that it would keep growing in a beer.
Yeah, if it's taking off in the bottle that strong.
It seems a little.
Just be
right.
What do you think it is?
That's true too. So some of the earlier comment sheets are pointing really heavy towards esters, and the common thing is watch your temperature, right? And I've got a thermowell and all that good stuff, but I think the yield on this beer was so low that I don't think the actual thermowell sat in the beer.
Wasn't touching the beer.
So it kind of just did its own thing on
Gotta make sure it does that.
All right, that's an error, I feel.
Right, so I'm in a little stainless conical, so it's not like you can see that the thermowell's in there all the way. So I think
you have a temperature strip on the outside.
Fermentation.
Yeah. Temperature strip on the outside to help you there too. If you
while it's fermenting,
right.
Just drill a hole right into it and look right.
Well, so we don't think it's a contaminant now because it's getting stronger. Is it just like a wild yeast that's different than a bacterium or something, or what's up?
I mean, if it's yeast activity, it would be happening while it's fermenting. But something. If it's increasing, generally something's getting away inside your bottle. I don't know if I could say whether it's bacteria or
without a lab or whatever. I mean, I wonder if it's just as it's aging, things are kind of dropping out and malt flavors are melding, and so this character is coming through a little bit more.
Yeah, that it's standing out since the hops have backed away a little more and some of the other stuff. So.
Okay.
Right, and that may be the case. And the other couple of things to this beer is it is aged on some oak that was soaked in Sauvignon Blanc, so the good stuff, the Sutter Home. So some of that oak character has definitely changed.
You just wasted oak.
First bottles too.
Okay. What about that new bombshell? This new revelation that I didn't know about, so you can't blame me for not telling you.
Well, I don't think. First of all, I mean, for oak, did you boil the oak first? Do anything else to the oak? I mean, if you're just soaking it in wine, that's not strong enough to kill anything that's in the oak. Is one thing. And
no, so we just microwaved it after soaking, kind of try to steam sanitize, if you will.
Gotcha.
Kind of burn off some of the alcohols, but that could have definitely been some of the source for sure.
Yeah, possibly something's getting away there. Or
but it's not getting drier. It's not, it wasn't like it was a bottle bomb, or it was even very overly carbonated when we opened it. So there were not a lot of telltale signs of it being infected, let's say.
Yeah, if it's growing in the bottle, you do get that gusher sometimes.
How old a beer is this, Clifton?
So I think this was brewed in, I want to say August. August, kind of finished up in September.
Okay.
So a few months old now. Not too terribly old. Not too terribly young.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to me it is spicy. It's almost like cinnamony and clovey and it's like
allspice. Right, totally. Yeah.
It's like, you sure you didn't soak it in some like kind of spicy booze or something? Let's kill this wood even more.
No.
Well, let's hear your recipe.
Yeah, so I don't have the recipe sheet in front of me, but I've got some of it from memory there. But it's pretty much the base malts are 50-50 two-row and white wheat malt. I agree, this thing doesn't scream wheat at me, which is kind of weird. And then there's just kind of some dash of some melanoidin, some Caribbean, and I think that's probably all I would have used in these. But I don't remember the last ingredient if there is one there. And then all the hops are Hallertau Blanc, kind of following that whole wine theme, if you will.
Sure.
So they're kind of a nice grape wine. I think Keith said he got apple. I kind of pick up like a Welch's grape juice out of it almost.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are a relatively new hop too. I thought they'd just be fun to use, kind of in this style.
Yeah, I mean, I think it works with the style for sure.
Yeah, and then the yeast is 1272. I did want something a little fruitier. The style guidelines kind of, they approach the, they say it should kind of present itself as fruity, but I think it kind of pushed the boundaries on this one a little bit. But and that was really about it other than the oak. This is one of those style guidelines I thought was kind of confusing because it says, oak is welcome. So it's like, well, if you oak age it, do you need to declare the oak? Or, I kind of went back and forth on that. So I just left it and kind of saw what the judges did with it to begin with. So
yeah. I think if it's so heavy that it's just super prominent, I mean, well, you want it to be in balance no matter what you're saying to judge, but yeah, I don't think it's like, oh, this doesn't scream like, wow, there's tons of oak in there. It's just enough to balance it and kind of round out some of the edges or something, then it's fine. I would just enter it as is.
Yeah, I think it's a good observation, though, about, the guidelines say your oak's allowed, but where, I think you made a really good point there, and as Brian is as well, if it doesn't yell oak, then that's fine. I think you did a good job in terms of that, and no one's ever going to know that, but in terms of judging the beer,
I haven't really declared it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some guidelines can seem a little contradictory, but in the end, it's all about the balance and what you do with it and how well you brew it.
Yeah. Well, Clifton, do you have any questions for the guys?
No, not really. Just a couple final little things. Original gravity on that is 1106. Final gravity is 1036, so 10.5. So probably, I guess you guys are recommending dialing off the alcohol just a touch.
I mean, age is the other option there, is letting it age a little bit longer, being that it's only been, 4 or 5 months?
September-ish, I think you said. Yeah.
And it doesn't seem oxidized. There's not any big, huge sherry creeping up or anything. So
sometimes the sherry is a nice little twist to it, and obviously the longer you age it, the more you get to sort of... so I would do it again. I would think about... aging it a little bit longer before entering it. A lot of times barley wines and wheat wines tend to do best 6 months to a year, not 3 months.
Yeah, that's about the next competition here in Texas we'll get, so that'll be perfect timing.
Cool. Perfect. Excellent. All right, man. Well, if that's it, we'll let you split.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you for sharing, Clifton.
All right. Yep. Y'all have a good night.
You too, man. Bye. Nice enough guy.
All right, yeah. Really nice guys, this show.
Yeah. Except for the hosts. We're all jerks. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to give prizes away, including, I think, let me check, a beer bug.
All right.
So one of these lucky gentlemen is going to get a beer bug. It's Dr. Homebrew. Hang on, we'll be right back, dude.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, Santa clean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. Admit it. Homebrewing is not always free of frustrations. Years ago, brothers Bill and Jim Mitchell decided to minimize those frustrations and create an entirely new brewing process and a brand new kitchen appliance, the Pico Brew Zymatic. The Zymatic sits on your kitchen counter and connects to the internet via Wi-Fi. It comes with access to a huge recipe library full of award-winning beers and can brew your next batch at the push of a button. Improve repeatability and refine your recipes with the Pico Brew Zymatic. With minimal cleaning and hassle, the Zymatic enables anyone to brew craft beer in the comfort of their own kitchen. Just add your ingredients and the process of homebrewing becomes simplified and automatic, allowing you to focus on what really matters while you brew. At Pico Brew, they believe everyone should be able to enjoy the art of homebrewing and make their own damn good craft beer. See the Zymatic in action today at picobrew.com.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
Hey, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. I appreciate you hanging out for us. You know what else I appreciate? The iDip.
The iDip.
The iDip.
Yes.
I think I need to get that back from you because I think I need to hand it out to somebody else now.
Okay.
Have you been using it? You using it a ton?
It's cool.
Nice.
It's good. We've used it on brew days before, and it's just great because you know exactly where you're at.
Nice. I love it. The iDip, or the Smart Brew Water Testing Kit, incorporates a new photometer system, which is the first and only one on the market with its own app. It's for home or commercial use because it takes great water to make great beer at any level. You can scale it up with you as you grow into your brewery, or if you're a pro brewer looking for better water results, accurate water results, up to the minute water results. Check out the old iDip here. It's the only meter on the market that runs water tests with no math needed, on your part. It pairs with Bluetooth and updates your water results instantly to your own personal water profile that you can then email to Facebook or Twitter even, or your homebrew club or your other brewers on the shift or anything like that. Send the information around the world. It's pretty amazing stuff. You can test for over 40 different water quality tests. 4 come preloaded. And you can, there's more available. You can test for stuff like total alkalinity, chloride, calcium hardness, pH, sulfate, and much, much more. With only 4 mils of water needed for each test. Uses a patented, safe, and simple reagent testing method that anyone can use. And of course, I know there is more to this live read, but true to form, Beverly did not print it all out for me. So
if I'm not mistaken, though,
I have to go.
You could also use it to test your pool and stuff like that.
You can.
You need to take a dip after your brewing session. You can
take an
check your brewing water.
Yeah.
Check your pool chemistry. Make sure you're all good.
You can, because it's the same. I mean, it's the same thing.
Principle.
So if you have a pool, if you have a hot tub,
water testing.
You need this.
Simple. Yeah.
Here we go. See what she left off. The Brewing Network special.
Left us hanging.
Yeah, we can enter code TBN10 at checkout and save $10 on either the standard or advanced Smart Brew Testing Kit. That's smartbrewkit.com. Hit code TBN10 at checkout. Save $10, dude. It's pretty good. Okay, let's see. We did that paperwork. Let me do this paperwork. See, work. No, that was a live read. Oh, shit. Wrong one. Anyways, okay, so we have 2 things to give away. Normally, our amazing sponsor, GrogTag. You can go to grogtag.com. Actually, right now, I'm not supposed to say this. I'm not being paid to say this, but GrogTag right now, you can go to their site, grogtag.com, and they're doing a gift certificate sale. So you can spend like $75 and get a $100 gift certificate, or you can spend $25 and get a $30 gift certificate, or $40 to get a $50 gift certificate. So check that out now. It only runs through the 24th. So if you're in the need for a stocking stuffer, or hell, just shit for your own self, dude. Anyway, so we always give out grog tags. We get a $40 gift certificate to the person with the lowest score. But then tonight we're also giving away a beer bug. And so the results are in. If I'm correct, right? The results are in, and it looks like Mr. Clifton Ellis wins the grog tags.
Yep.
There we go. That's a good $40 to you, Clifton. Thank you very much. So that means Paul Anderson is the winner of the beer bug.
All right,
which is pretty good as well. Everyone knows the beer bug. It sits right in any carboy, drops like a weight down in suspension in your beer, and then you can wirelessly check the gravity and the temperature of your fermenting beer. You can know exactly when it's done. You can know exactly when it's kicked off, when high Krausen hits, all without having to open up the fridge or open up the closet or peek inside the thing or pull a hydrometer reading. You don't have to do any of that nonsense with Beerbug. Beerbug.com. They're a great sponsor, as are grog tags as well. I think that's it. I think we're done.
Yeah.
I think we're out of here. Anyway, thank you to everybody who has sent in beer. That is Paul and Clifton. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you to our sponsors. 5-star for sure. More Beer, 2&A, Pico Brew, Nico Brew, Beer Bug, 5-star, IDIP, HA. Everybody who makes this show possible. And thanks to you guys for downloading the hell out of the show. We're doing pretty good, man. I feel good about where the show is. And it's the last show for 2016. We'll see you in 2017.
Happy New Year, yeah.
Better year.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Worse.
There's a lot that's threatening to be worse, but whatever.
At least there will be turkey legs.
At least there will be turkey legs. That's correct. All right, everybody, go get wasted. It's almost Christmas, and then take a nap on the couch and clog a toilet. It's Dr. Homebrew. Thanks a lot, everybody.